In this video, I'll be sharing with you everything you need to know to be able to build beautiful and performant mobile apps with AI. There are tons of tools out there, but honestly, most are not really useful, except for three, which we'll be diving deep into today. I'll show you how to both set up and use each of these tools while we lay the foundations for a habit tracker we'll be building together. Let's get started. Before anything, let's run this script to initialize our repository. You can use bunx, you can use also npx, doesn't matter. And you can find hundreds of other starter templates in the link down below. We have a lot. All right, so let's bun install and bun start and see what we're working with. Now we have a problem here. I don't like these old style bottom tabs. I want to use the new liquid glass effect, but that shouldn't be a problem. You know why? Because we can use skills to easily implement the liquid glass effect the proper way. This brings us to the first and most important tool you need, which is also the easiest to add. It's skills. They're simply instruction manuals for the AI, as we'll get to see as soon as we install the first one. While you can of course make your own ones, there are lots of extremely useful skills built by us and a lot of others in our community. If you visit expo.dev/skills, you can find all of our skills in here and just copy this and run it in your terminal. Once we're here, we get to specify each one that we want. But for the sake of simplicity, let's just add all of them by doing a -s and then star. Now, once you've specified the skills you'd like to add, it's time to specify which coding agent should use them. In our case, most of them are covered inside .agents, but Claude Code has its own way. So let's add Claude Code. And the next question is the scope. Where do you want these skills to live? Do you want them to only be available in this code base, or do you want them to be available in any directory you're at? I suggest keeping them localized to your specific project unless all you do is build mobile apps every day. And if you do that, my respect to you. And always use symlinks for most cases. And just like that, we can see we've got a .agents directory and .cloud directory with all our new skills. And if you're wondering how you actually write good skills, there's a very good guide that Claude published that tells you everything you need to know about building good skills. But all you have to know is that a skill is composed of a skill.md file, and that is the only requirement you need. You can also have references for more documentation, scripts for running code, and this whole thing follows a convention called progressive disclosure, which basically means do not disclose any information unless there's a need for disclosing it. We'll be talking more about context window and progressive disclosure in the later sections. But now let's look at upgrading Expo skill, which you guys should run given that we just launched version 57. It's basically 100 lines of Markdown and some references for more documentation. But now that we have a good idea of what skills are, let's actually run Expo UI skill to implement our native liquid glass effect in the bottom tabs. Wait, how do I actually invoke a skill? There are two main ways. First one is by doing / commands like expo UI, which is right here. If you're in Codex, it would be a $sign. And that basically tells the AI to make sure to read the skill.md inside the skill. Let's quickly tell the AI to implement the liquid glass effect. Please implement the liquid glass effect inside the bottom tabs. While it's running, let me tell you about the other way. So you notice this description in here? That'll be used by the AI to figure out if it should be invoked autonomously. In other words, this information will be given to the AI in every single conversation, which means you do have to make sure you don't have a lot of skills, because if you do, this description will bloat up your context window, which we will talk more about later. Look at that, clean one shot, all with one skill. Even did the modal button as well. Now, before we move on to the second tool, I want to make sure we have one thing in check, or two things in check: performance and best practices. I wouldn't know how to write a skill for that, but there must be someone else who made one. Let's ask the AI and see what it knows. Can you help me find a skill that will help me ensure that the app is always performing at the best of its abilities and there's nothing that is slowing it down? Let's see what it gives us. You'll notice that it invoked find skills automatically. I didn't tell it, it just did it by itself. Even though I don't have it in here, and that's because it's living in my global configurations. I'll link the skill down below, but if you go to skills.sh, it is the first and most installed skill. FYI, it searches through over almost 900,000 skills. Even though it's literally just one file, it is very simple but powerful. But yeah, back to the AI output, you can see it recommended one. I can just tell it, please install it locally, and it will just do it by itself. There's a lot we can dive into in here, and we'll do a whole deep dive on Expo UI in another video. But this should give you a head start to make real progress with skills. So I wanted to push these changes so that others can use this app. But when I ran this command, unfortunately, I got a build error, and I'm not sure why. And if I look at the logs, it is a whole mess and I can't bother looking at it. So what if we can make the AI read the logs that is inside my dashboard and autonomously implement a fix for it? This leads me to the second tool we'll be diving deep into, MCPs. On a high level, they allow you to connect with external services like Notion, Supabase, GitHub, you name it, and both read the data stored in there and also take actions on your behalf in there. Let's look at Expo's MCP because one of the many tools it offers is the ability to read the build logs from the Expo dashboard. And this unlocks so many workflows that you can make with your AI autonomously. So let's go to expo.dev/AI. From here, you can see, you can click to learn more about Expo MCPs. First thing you'll notice is that we do have a whole video on Expo MCPs, and it is still a good video to watch. But keep in mind, back then, the MCP was only reserved for the paid plan. Now it's free for everyone. Let's quickly download it by running one of these scripts down here. I'm using Cloud Code, so I'll just copy this. You can also install the MCP server by installing the Expo plugin, which you can copy from here. The plugin contains both the skills and the MCP server, and you will know that it has been added if you look at your Claude settings.json and you have this. Either way works, but once you added them, to configure it and authenticate, you gotta go to /MCP. Okay, now that we're authenticated, let me show you what it can do. My Expo iOS build is failing. Can you please investigate the cause of this problem and then figure out a solution and make sure the solution actually works before coming back to me? In the meantime, let me tell you more about what the MCP offers. A good way to think about it is anything you can do in your dashboard, there's a good chance you can also do it through the MCP. But also one thing you'll notice is we have two kinds of tools. We got server capabilities and then local capabilities. 25 server, which are all of these, and then 6 local, which are these. So what are the differences and why does it matter? Because by default, server ones are installed, but to add the local capabilities, we do have to run this script. So let's quickly add this. And if we go back here to verify, it is now in our dev dependencies. And the reason for that is because this dependency allows the AI to take actions within your simulator. So in other words, take screenshots, click buttons, which are really useful for debugging and validating that the thing works. You can also read the native and JavaScript logs of your simulator, and a few more like opening the DevTools, sitemaps for Expo Router. But also we do have to run this to activate the local MCP. What we can do is we go to the package.json and replace the start command with this. And then we do bun start. So now we have this activated and the AI can start using it. Seems like the AI finished its response. And if you look, our build succeeded this time. And it turns out to be a version mismatch with React Native reanimated, which Expo Doctor did flag, as you can see, expected and found. So make sure you don't forget to run Expo Doctor before you waste a lot of tokens debugging. And speaking of token minimizing, the opposite of token maxing, do keep in mind that MCP servers are relatively token heavy, especially when you compare them to skills, because MCP servers load all the tool definitions. In other words, basically all of this is loaded if you install an MCP server, even without using it. For example, only use a super-based MCP if the project actually uses the super-base as a backend. Don't install it globally. Also, one last thing before we move on. While the Expo MCP offers a lot of features, if you're looking for something more specialized in debugging and has access to the web, the Android emulator, and the iOS simulator, check out Argent, which, let me show you a quick demo here, is able to test autonomously for all 3 builds. You can learn more about Argent inside argent.softwaremansion.com. And of course, it is open source. Okay, moving on to the third tool. It is not really a tool, it is more of the way you use the tools, because you can have the right skills, the right MCPs connected, but your AI still doesn't give you exactly what you're looking for. And why is that? Well, we have 3 main reasons that we will dive deep into. First one is you're not sharing enough context to the AI. Imagine the AI as a junior developer. If you don't give them a thorough explanation of what you're looking to do and what you want, they'll form a lot of assumptions, and these assumptions are usually quite generic. Don't get me wrong, skills do help a lot, but when it comes to implementing specific features or designs you have in mind, it's on you to communicate. But what if you don't even know what you want to build and how it should look like? That leads me to the second reason. A lot of people get discouraged because of that and end up not building anything. But the thing is, you're forgetting that AI can embody a personality and take on any role, including an intelligent ideation buddy, with the help of skills, of course. For example, I'm looking to build a habit tracker, but I'm not sure how it should look like and how it should work. Because I've tried so many habit trackers before and none of them really worked for me. Can you help me figure out what can work for me? I've previously tried other apps, but struggled with staying motivated to do these habits and remembering to log them every day. Maybe widgets that allow me to automatically view and update the tracker could help, but I'm not sure. What do you think? So as you can see here, I did pass this prompt to /co-CEO. This is a skill that I created for myself, heavily inspired by a similar one created by Gary Tan, the CEO of Y Combinator, which, by the way, backed Expo exactly 10 years ago. Anyways, another simple but very useful skill if you want the AI to interrogate you and squeeze as much information out of you, check out Grill Me, or the grilling session, which is a skill created by Matt Pocock right here. It is very simple, but it will get you to clear all the doubts that the AI might have. Of course, I'll add all these links in the description below. But the point that I'm trying to make in here is that skills don't only help make the AI write better code, but they also can help you build better products. Products that could genuinely help solve your own problems or other people's problems. And also notice how I did not intentionally talk about the tech stack here and any of these like details of the app. Mainly because I don't want to get the AI to feel overwhelmed trying to answer every single doubt and question that I have. For now, we're only focused on how should we make this different and useful for me. Once we have that core idea set in stone, we'll have these discussions about tech stack in a different conversation. Which perfectly leads us to the third problem that people face, context bloat, which I briefly described before. Think of your AI memory as a human brain. If someone gives you an overwhelming amount of information and asks you a question, would you be able to give them a sharp, clear answer? Maybe, but I'd personally be very overwhelmed and probably have a lot of brain fog. The same thing happens with the AI. And as a result, it will give you worse quality responses and it will cost you more. So how does that look like in practice? So you see this number here? This is the context window. Right now, we have taken over 5% of it. And it's mainly coming from the Claude.md, the system prompt, and all the skill descriptions, as I mentioned before, like this, for example. Let's say I continue going on with a grilling session. By the end of that, it will probably reach 30%. My rule of thumb is not to go past 50% of the context window, because when you go beyond that, your AI will start hallucinating and just not perform at its best. And by the way, this whole toolbar here comes from an open source tool called CC Status Line, which I'll also link down below. Now, another habit that I've been continuing to follow more and more these days is keeping each conversation focused on one specific topic or outcome. So for example, I want to keep this conversation focused on ideation and planning. So let's rename this to initial planning. So it's easy for us to come back to that specific thread. Now, let's say I finished initiating the project and planning it, and I want to move on to the tech stack. What I would do is I would do branch and then give it a useful name like tech stack. And now this agent and this thread as a whole will be dedicated to figuring out what the tech stack should actually look like. And if I want to go back to the planning and ideating, I can simply do another cloud session and then resume and right there. And they both have the same context embedded in them, but I can take them to both completely different directions. It's the same exact feature that ChatGPT had for several years now. And of course, Codex also has the same feature, but in there it's called /fork instead. To demonstrate this further, this is how it would look like on a high level. Instead of having one long conversation, which will bloat your context window, I'd have different branches and different threads. A thread for planning with the co-CEO and then the grilling session. And then I can continue off to create the spec/PRD in another thread. And then from there, I would suggest creating a brand new chat from scratch and passing a markdown file that has the PRD or the detailed plan. So in our example, given we want to build a widget, I'll start researching how to set up the widgets, the tech stack for it, where the AI suggests, oh, the best way to implement widgets on iOS is through the Expo package that just became ready for production. And then I can just go back to the main branch without infiltrating the context that got filled up in here. Same thing if I face a bug. I would open up a new branch, talk to the MCP, help me resolve it, and then once I'm done, I go back here without infiltrating the context. The whole point here is think of each branch as an employee who's specialized in one thing. But yeah, that is all for today. I know there's much more we can go through. I will be going through this whole workflow step by step to show you how I use all these tools that I mentioned today and more as I build out this habit tracker using Fable 5 while I still have access to it. But aside from that, there is so much we can get into. So we need your help, guys. Let us know in the comments what you'd like to see next in this brand new series where we build mobile apps with AI. And I'll see you in the next one.